Maya Torres stood in front of her mirror for the 20th time that evening, and still felt uncertain about her reflection staring back at her. The blue dress fit well enough and her hair cooperated for once, but doubt crept through her mind like shadows at sunset. Daniel from the engineering department had finally asked her out after months of casual conversations by the coffee machine, and she wanted everything to be perfect. Her hands smoothed down the fabric again as she checked the time on her wrist display and realized she had 15 minutes before he would arrive at the building entrance. A sudden impulse made her grab her keycard and step into the corridor of her apartment complex on Haven's Rest Colony, where she had lived for the past 6 months. The door across the hall belonged to Zara, and Maya found herself knocking before she could second-guess the decision. Zara answered almost immediately, and her silver eyes widened slightly at the sight of Maya dressed up instead of wearing her usual work coveralls. The Villani woman stood nearly a head taller than Maya, with luminescent purple skin that seemed to glow softly in the hallway lighting and graceful features that always made Maya think of ancient sculptures. They had become friends over shared meals and late-night conversations about the differences between Earth and the Villani homeworld of Villanis Prime. Maya trusted Zara's judgment more than almost anyone else in the colony, despite having known her for such a short time. "Do I look okay because I have a date tonight and I want to make a good impression on someone special?" The words tumbled out quickly as nervous energy made Maya shift from foot to foot while waiting for Zara's response. Something changed in Zara's expression, and the soft glow of her skin dimmed slightly as emotions played across her alien features. The silver eyes that usually sparkled with warmth now held something Maya could not immediately identify as pain or longing, or perhaps both mixed together. "Why don't you see that I love you?" The words hung in the air between them like a physical presence, and Maya felt her breath catch in her throat. Zara's hands, which had been relaxed at her sides, now clenched slightly, as if she regretted speaking but could not take back what had been said. Maya stood frozen in the doorway, unable to process what she had just heard, because this possibility had never entered her mind despite all their time together. The Villani woman's bioluminescent patterns began shifting through colors that Maya had learned indicated emotional distress in her species. "I have loved you since the day you brought me soup when I was sick and sat with me, even though you might catch the illness." Herself, Zara's voice remained steady despite the vulnerability of her confession, and she continued speaking as if a dam had finally broken inside her. "In my culture, we do not rush into declarations of feeling because we believe love should be demonstrated through consistent presence and care over time. I have tried to show you in every way I know how, but I realize now that human customs are different, and perhaps I should have used words sooner." Maya felt her hand reach up to grip the doorframe for support as her mind raced through memories of the past 6 months. All those dinners Zara had prepared with careful attention to Maya's preferences and allergies took on new meaning in this sudden context. The way Zara always seemed to know when Maya had difficult days at work and would have tea ready without being asked made sense now. Even the small things like how Zara learned to appreciate human music because Maya loved it, or memorized Earth poetry to share during their conversations, did not mean to confess tonight of all nights when you are preparing for a date with someone else. Zara's voice cracked slightly, and she looked away as her skin patterns shifted to deeper purples that Maya recognized as embarrassment. "But I could not watch you leave to pursue happiness with another person without telling you the truth of my feelings, even if you do not return them." Maya found her voice finally, though it came out softer than she intended in the quiet hallway. "Can I come inside? Because I need to sit down and process this properly." Zara stepped back immediately and gestured for Maya to enter her apartment, which Maya had visited countless times, but now felt different somehow. The space reflected Zara's personality with careful collections of human artifacts she had gathered to better understand the culture, alongside beautiful items from her homeworld. They sat on the cushioned seating area that Zara had adapted to accommodate both human and Villani preferences for comfort. Maya pulled out her communicator and sent a quick message to Daniel apologizing and explaining that something urgent had come up and she needed to reschedule. She could not possibly go on that date now with her mind spinning from Zara's revelation and her heart pounding in her chest. "Tell me everything because I need to understand what this means for you and what you have been feeling." Zara took a deep breath and her skin gradually returned to its normal soft purple glow as she began to speak on Valana's Prime. We form bonds slowly over years sometimes because we live much longer than humans, and rushing seems illogical to us. But living among humans taught me that your species feels things intensely and expresses love through words and gestures that seem natural to you. I studied human relationships by watching your movies and reading your literature because I wanted to understand you better. Every romantic comedy you mentioned, I watched alone in my quarters taking notes on how humans show affection. I learned that humans give gifts and make physical contact easily and say, "I love you." After relatively short periods of knowing someone, for Valani these things take much more time, but my feelings for you grew faster than anything I expected, based on my cultural conditioning. Your kindness draws me to you like gravity, pulls objects into orbit around planets. The way you laugh at small joys and find wonder in ordinary moments makes me see this colony world differently. You treat everyone with respect regardless of their species, and you never made me feel alien, even when I struggled with human social customs. I love how you hum while you work on engineering problems, and how you always stop to pet the colony cats even when you are running late. These small human traits that you probably do not even notice about yourself have become precious to me. Maya felt tears forming in her eyes as she listened to Zara describe her with such attention and care. No one had ever paid such close attention to who she really was beneath the surface. Daniel had asked her out, but their conversations had been pleasant rather than deep, and she realized now that she knew very little about what he valued. "How long have you felt this way?" Maya's question came out as barely more than a whisper. Zara's silver eyes met hers directly with the honesty that Maya had always appreciated about Valani communication. "I began to recognize it as love approximately 3 months ago, though the feelings were developing before I had words for them. I watched you prepare for dates with others before, and each time I told myself I was happy for your potential happiness. But tonight, when you stood in my doorway looking so beautiful and excited about someone else, I could not maintain that pretense any longer. I am sorry if this ruins our friendship, because your presence in my life means more to me than my unexpressed feelings." Maya reached out and took Zara's hand, which was warm and slightly larger than her own, with long, elegant fingers. The touch sent unexpected electricity through her arm, and she did not pull away. "You have not ruined anything, but you have given me a lot to think about because I never considered this possibility. I value our friendship more than almost anything in my life here on Haven's Rest, but I need time to understand my own feelings now that you have changed the context of everything we have shared." Zara squeezed her hand gently and nodded with understanding. In her expression, "Take all the time you need, because I have already waited this long and I can wait longer. I do not expect you to return my feelings just because I have confessed them. If friendship is all you can offer, then I will treasure that and learn to manage my other emotions." Maya stayed for another hour talking with Zara about feelings and culture and the complexity of relationships between different species. When she finally returned to her own apartment, she lay awake most of the night thinking about silver eyes and purple skin and patient love. The following weeks became a period of discovery for Maya, as she paid attention to her own reactions and feelings with new awareness. She found herself looking forward to seeing Zara more than anyone else and feeling disappointed when their schedules did not align. The butterflies in her stomach when Zara smiled at her were impossible to ignore once she acknowledged their presence. She went on the rescheduled date with Daniel and realized halfway through dinner that she was comparing everything to conversations with Zara. Daniel was kind and intelligent, but there was no spark and no depth to match what she had found across the hall. They parted as friends, and Maya felt relief rather than disappointment, which told her everything she needed to know. Zara invited Maya to a Valani community gathering where she met others from that species living in the colony. They welcomed her warmly, and she learned about their culture, of deep bonds and partnerships that lasted entire lifetimes. The idea of that kind of commitment would have scared her before, but now it felt like safety, rather than a cage. Maya began teaching Zara about casual human affection and watching the Valani woman learn to hold hands felt more intimate than anything she had experienced. They went to the colony's observation deck together one evening to watch the stars, and Maya realized she was.